So I'm Tom Robillard with Vehroot. At Vehroot, we're focused on improving vehicle intelligence and vehicle technology. To date, we have a product that's ready for market that we're working very hard to get on the market. It's called the Shelf. The Shelf allows you to use any size or brand phone or tablet as the display in your dash. So using the Shelf, you just simply set your phone or tablet on the dash, and it's held in place, stored very well there in the dash, and your device is charged on the Shelf either through wireless charging or a small cable and connected into the car audio. So all the benefits of your phone or tablet. I'm not doing it as well this time, but
I know. I put you on the spot by making you think about what you were saying, but it's wonderful. Now,
okay.
let me do this if I may, because were I watching this for the first time, which I basically was when we met at the Mentor Swarm several weeks ago, my first thought would be, okay, wait a minute. I've seen stuff where you have to clamp your device onto something, and you have to. It's like 3 different vice grips, and there's 27 axis security and all these sorts of things. But basically, you just pulled out your model and say, nope, here you go, boom, look. And I was stunned at how quickly and easily that worked.
Yes.
How is it held on there?
We use a combination of materials that stick to the device. That's the best way to describe it. And when you touch some of these materials, especially the material on the bottom, you wouldn't believe that your device would stick to it, but it really does. The material we use on the bottom of the Shelf, you can hold a device on the wall for a period of time, and that material prevents side-to-side movement. You really don't even see that it's there. It blends really well with the product. And then on the back, the material we use is slightly more tacky, but we have spent several years scouring the globe and pouring molds and testing material to come up with what we have today, which is a tacky gel that does not leave a residue on the device, lasts for 10 years, withstands heat or cold, and it works very well. It does require a cleaning occasionally. So with that, you will provide a cloth with our product that's a lint-free cloth. You simply get that cloth moist with water and wipe those strips, and they're restored to their original tackiness. So very durable. That material should last 10 years. And then we've also looked ahead where, okay, somebody may have this product either for more than 10 years or just be very rough on it, drop their phone in the dirt and set it on there and get it dirty on a regular basis. So we've made that faceplate something that can easily be taken off and replaced at a low cost.
And I will come off sounding like a total shill here, and I'll just apologize to anyone who watches this video. I'm not actually getting any sort of kickback, but when we met at Spark Building and you were showing this to me, basically everything you just described, I personally witnessed. Like, I'm looking at the prototype Shelf sitting there, and I'm going, okay, so where's the part that's going to hold your tablet on there? And then you just put the tablet on, and there it was holding it. I'm like, this is astonishing to me. I thought, is there a magnet hidden behind the surface here or something? But no, it's just this material that you've come up with that does, I thought, a remarkable job of holding a device on there. Especially, I can't imagine how many times you've had to go through that exact demo with that exact item. So to me, it struck me as basically this is just kind of like, poor layman's explanation, this is like having a Post-it on your dashboard, because you put the tablet on there, you took it off, and I was expecting there to be stuff on the back, it would be tacky or what, but no. So I'm astonished at how well that works. So for people that are listening to you, it's no lie, this is how it works.
I like to set a 10-inch tablet on there, a larger one, and just shake the unit and show people that your device will stay on there. And if I don't say something to people, they always ask, well, how do the magnets work with my device? And I say, no, there are no magnets. We don't have magnets. And
okay, that was me asking about the magnets.
Right. So that's a question we get all the time. And the magnets remove a lot of versatility. If we had magnets, there's some devices that would work, that would stay on the Shelf, and some wouldn't, or you'd have to have a special case. And the beauty of our attaching mechanisms are that whether it's a phone or a tablet, or whether it has a case or doesn't have a case, your device will stay on. And we were just at Fall X, and a guy came in with this just monster thick case. And he said, yeah, it won't hold my case because the case had a lot of bumps on the back. And I said, well, let's try it. And we stuck it up there on an angle so it wasn't resting on the lip of the shelf, and it stayed. And
Nice.
So just holding a few places on his case. And then the second thing he said is, yeah, I have wireless charging, but it doesn't work with my case because it's so thick. And again, we set his phone up there and wireless charging kicked in, and he just couldn't believe it. So it really...
Okay, but wait, hang on a second though. So these would absolutely be some of my concerns. And honestly, we'll talk about your business momentarily. I'm just so hung up on the product. So these would be some of my concerns, right? Well, what if for whatever reason we wanted to put my son's tablet up there and we have, an apocalypse kind of case on his tablet because he's 10. I'm sure it won't stick. And you're telling me, hey, we tried that, it sticks. Wireless charging, also a thing. So I've got to tell you, here's a concern that comes to my mind that we did not have a chance to test. We're in Wisconsin. And if my car's sitting out on the street or even in the garage overnight, 3 months from now, it is not going to be super warm when I go to put my device on the shelf in my car. What temperature range are we talking about that tackiness still being viable?
We've been testing the current gels we have for 2 years through Wisconsin winters and summers, and it just works. There's never we haven't run into a temperature. I know it's been well below zero that I've had my device on the shelf, and it's no problem. There's just no. It's an amazing. Just the gel in itself, we're very happy with how that turned out.
Oh, I'm sure. Okay, so I'm at risk of sounding like a quick seal advertisement at this point because I'm setting you up for all of these wonderful pitch aspects of the device. Let me switch gears a little bit and ask you about the formation of the company. So who is involved, and how do you get the ideas and the skill sets together to create this device?
It's a good story. So with this particular product, it started out a little over 3 years ago on a long road trip to Cincinnati. I used to have a job where I traveled a lot, and I picked up a different rental car every week from Enterprise, and I carried a small duffel bag with me filled with cables and mounts, and I had different metal attachments glued to the back of my phone so I could use magnets, at times. And I would spend the first 5-10 minutes, probably longer, in any of these rental cars, just getting my phone set up in the car and connected to the car. And one day I got in my car and I was in a little bit of a hurry, and I just had the thought, why can't I just set my phone in the dash and use it? Because that's what I'm doing. That's what everybody's doing. Why can't I just set my phone in here and use it? So on the long drive down to Cincinnati and back, I thought on that. And when I got home, I sketched up some things, and I got so excited about it that I actually bought materials to pour plastics and built it.
Wow, look at you.
Yeah, I was determined. And the other part that drove me is I had a vehicle that had the best technology at the time in it. It had navigation and hands-free calling and all the bells and whistles. But I had to pay $150 a year for a DVD to update the maps, that once I got the DVD, it was garbage. And it was silly to use it because I could just talk to my phone and say, hey, find the nearest gas station or whatever. And that's what I was doing. And so I just decided, that's out of here. I'm just going to use my phone. And so I developed, buying products off the shelf. I had wireless charging and I didn't have steering controls and a lot of the nice things we have today, but I built it. And then after using just kind of a real rough looking piece, I ran into a buddy of mine who's the head of prototyping at Trek Bikes, and he liked the idea. So he made a 3D printed version that was a lot nicer. And that's what I ran with. And people that got in my car went nuts over it. This is great. They could just set their phone up there and it's held in place and charging. And so then what really kicked things off is I had an old Nexus tablet. I put it on eBay, and within the first day, 3 people messaged me, and they weren't really interested in the tablet. They just wanted to know, because I took pictures of the tablet in my car, what was it in my car that I was using?
Let me get this straight. Before you even had your startup, you accidentally marketed the product that you're going to build.
I did. And one guy even offered to send me a few $100s to build one for him. So I thought, And after I told Ben, who is one of the co-founders of Vehroot, we built 10. And we went to the Madison Startup Fair. It set up a table and asked people to volunteer to put these in their car. We got 10 volunteers, and we told everybody, look, after 3 months, we're going to come around. We'll put your old stereo back in. We just want your feedback. What did you like? What didn't you like? And the first surprising thing was that we got 10 people to sign up right away. And we had, and some of them were the booths around us, other businesses.
So these are complete strangers that just met you at this fair and said, sure, just come monkey with my dashboard. Put your thing in here. Okay.
Yes. So in no time at all, we had the 10 volunteers, and the people at the fair were really excited about it in the booths around us. So to make a long story short, after 3 months, we went back to take them out, and nobody wanted us to. Nobody, not one person said, go ahead and put my old stereo back in. So we thought, this, maybe we're onto something here. Then we got Ben's father-in-law to invest. He was our first angel investor. So he dropped over 100 grand into the company for us to develop our own electronics. So we worked with a company here in Madison to build our own boards. And that's when we brought on 2 other people. So there are 4 founders of Vehroot. One of the other guys is a friend of mine from Michigan who's worked with other startups and been successful. And his father worked in automotive electronics for 35 years.
Oh, so wow. What a grab.
Yes. So between the 4 of us, we were able to develop and build electronics that were automotive grade, coming off the same line as Ford. With Ben, we were working in supply for Trek. We were able to just grab really good suppliers for metal and plastics, and we really put together a good quality product in a short time. So it just happened.
Okay, and so here are 2 pieces of the timeline that I want you to clarify for me.
Okay.
So when you got the first 10 volunteers to put the prototype in their dashboard, and then they said, nope, don't take it out, we love it. When roughly was this?
That was probably mid-2016.
Okay, mid-2016.
Mid-2016.
You did your first market research, and it was a stellar success. And,
yes.
And this is with off-the-shelf, basically, products at this point? I mean, you just went out and bought the materials.
They were functional prototypes.
Okay.
And we were scrambling just before then we had filed for several patents.
Okay. But you had gone out and kind of grabbed the materials and said, okay, we're building these things. So it's mid-2016. Go forward to when you get your first angel investor. You've got your 4 co-founders at this point. What time is that roughly?
Same time.
Okay.
Yep. We had all teamed up about the same time. Yep.
Okay. So that was rapid succession that those events occurred.
Moved very quickly.
And then describe where we are today. What's the state of the company, of the product? What are the next challenges you're dealing with?
So for 2 years, we were heads down on development. And as we went along, we found technologies that really made our product even more exciting. So for example, we found that we could plug right into the vehicle network. And with that, it's not something our first products are taking a lot of advantage of, but we can develop our own app that competes with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and that there's a user interface like theirs, but we have connectivity into the car. We can bring the backup camera into our app. We can bring diagnostics into our app. We can essentially bring cars online. So,
and you can do that on my tablet that I'm putting in my dashboard.
Yes. Any mobile device now is the tech in your car. And it really gives us an amazing development path. The hard thing for us in the last couple of years has been to come up with a minimum viable product. And that's where G-Beta has really helped us a lot. In fact, before Jenny, there was a lady named Nee, and I was meeting with her, and she said to me one day, "Stop developing. You've got to get a product to market." And so the first 2 years, we just kept adding pieces in, and where we landed is a product that ties into your vehicle steering controls, enables you to talk to your mobile device, provides buttons that manage all the functionality of your mobile device, and gets the device out of your hands. That's our goal today. Get the device out of your hands, put it on the dash, use the software that's out there today. We've really been struggling because we could develop an app too, and the biggest advantages of that would be bringing the backup camera into play, putting an internal AM/FM tuner in there, just building a lot of functionality in. But with the money we have today, we have to sell what we have today.
Right, sure.
So
make the product, we'll develop the app later. Got it. Okay.
And so what we've done with the angel money we've gotten so far is we've built production prototypes. These are coming off of a line in Michigan. That's the same line some of Ford's electronics are coming off of. We've got a lot of people involved, from industrial designers to people with PhDs in electrical engineering. We have a very solid list of a dozen people who want to be involved and who have been involved and who've given us their time absolutely for free to build 3 versions of production prototypes. And where we are today, we know we need to build a 4th and final production prototype that just has some minor changes in it and test it. We're trying to determine any additional FCC licensing we have, sure, but we know that we can have a final product design within 3 months. And we, at the recommendation of G-Beta, put a pre-order link, and we really didn't want to do that because we were like, well, we don't even have a totally finished product, but we did it just to gauge interest. And in a 24-hour period of time, that link showed up on 3 different websites, including a very reputable mobile electronics blog called CE Outlook. And we had well over 1,000 orders in 24 hours.
Really?
30, yeah, we have a list now of 30-some distributors. I mean, it's just, so we have orders.
Yeah.
And we can have a product ready in a few months. And so right now what we're doing is talking very serious to venture and angel investors to enable us to build our product and get it to market within the next year. Okay. And really our goal with that is to gauge the market, determine our market. Okay. We also had 2 companies approach us for licensing agreements, and those discussions are really on hold because the discussion gets to the point where they say, well, there are no comparables and we don't know the market, and then they throw some, they're basically dictating the terms.
Right.
We'd be better off to build it ourselves and have that market gauge and be able to go back to them and say, look, we sold 1,000 in a month. So
1,000 orders in 24 hours. Let's revisit this discussion.
Yes.
Okay. So it sounds like you're 90 days out from having what we consider the final version of an MVP that we're happy to put out there. We've already seen market interest. We're looking at investors to help us take that to kind of the next step. How do we produce this thing? How do we get it out there to the market? So let me shift gears again briefly and ask this. So thus far, what we've heard of is 4 co-founders. roughly how many folks are involved in Vehroot today?
There are what I call a top 10 list.
Okay.
And one is we're looking to add another co-founder, so a fifth guy.
Okay.
And we're adding him because we're all propeller heads, really. The four of us that are here that are the founders now are engineer types. This fifth guy will be our businessman.
Okay.
He's got an MBA from UW. He also has his PhD in electrical engineering. His name's Vehroot.
Okay.
And then we have people who've worked with us as contractors on firmware and electronics development. There's a couple acquisitions. I know I'm maybe talking ahead here, but there's some companies who are developing technology that nobody's kind of picked up the rock and found them yet.
Okay.
So there are some key people out there that we want to bring into the fold.
Okay. Okay. So far the full-time head count is 4, looking to be 5, and we have our eye on some talent acquisition that we'd like to make. Okay.
Yes. In fact, that's the hardest thing coming up with our ask for investors is, to build the first 1,000, we're looking at the minimum number of people to bring in,
right.
As, paid people.
Right.
If we had 4 times the ask, we could use it. We could bring in more people. We could move a lot faster. In fact, our ask has been all over the place because of that. We've only recently nailed it down.
Okay. All right. So then this puts this next question in a very broad category then.
Okay.
But this is my own personal interest, so I have to deliver this question to everyone I speak with. So when you hear the phrase people challenge or people issue, for Vehroot, what comes to your mind?
What comes to my mind is just as amazing as the product that we've put together are the team of people that are putting it together. So we get together every week on Skype, often 2 or 3 times a week. And over a 3-year period of time, we have worked together just very well. We don't have any drama. Everybody is just maintained excitement over 3 years, and they're just all people I like to hang out with. I don't know that we'll always, as we grow, be able to maintain that level of dedication and enthusiasm. But we just all work together very well.
Okay, so it sounds like a potential concern there is, well, gosh, this is all new and it's heady days, and we're all known quantities to each other and enjoy working with each other. What happens when this becomes a real business, right?
Right.
What about when we have to bring on other people and all of these sorts of processes kick in? And it sounds like there's the totally understandable concern. How well are we going to manage kind of a cultural shift from it's just 4 of us to, okay, now there's an entire company here?
Right. That is definitely something I haven't put a lot of thought to, but have thought about. And we, in our seed stage, will work with people as contractors.
Sure.
And I like that. I like that the people working with us have skin in the game and are working independently. And I think that will always be a thing. I think that people who work with us have their own independent piece that they take pride in, and we'll try to keep it that way. For example, the guy that's really developing the network piece, this is his product that he has developed over the past couple years that plugs into what we're doing very well.
Yep.
And while I talk of acquisitions, I imagine that guy will always own that, so he becomes a part of Vehroot. That's his thing.
Okay.
And so, yes, whatever whatever functions, whether it's marketing or business development or whatever it is that we add on as we go, those people will be just independent thinkers and people who own whatever it is they're doing.
Okay. So this is probably asking you to pull out your crystal ball a little bit, but when we think about the business model of the company, right? Innovate, have this really cool thing. Let's get a bunch of them built. Let's sell them, right? And then let's all retire to our private islands. I'm assuming that's in the business plan somewhere. That's like page 5 of the deck. It's the private island part.
Vehroot Island, yes.
That's it. So, describe to me a challenge that you see and how you're going to be dealing with that, how you're preparing for that in terms of the business model, right? Is it production? Is it sales? Is it marketing, right? Where is it? Give me an idea of a challenge there and how you're preparing for that or how you're addressing it.
Okay, so right now we're a hardware company and we need to plug in software. And we need to plug it in as fast as we can. So that's our immediate challenge. We build our seed inventory. We establish our market. We need to immediately pivot onto software. And I have eyes out there now on, do we contract that? Do we bring people on staff? And then our mission statement is driving vehicle intelligence. So the core of what we do is develop technology that improves vehicle intelligence, transportation intelligence. There's a lot to that. It's not, it's hardware, it's software, it's databases, it's networks.
Sure.
And, sometimes when I stand back and I look at things on a high level, I'm like, boy, this is really a lot to take on. But it's what we're excited about. So that's where we're going to overcome it, because my background is I worked in aviation. I assembled aircraft. I love machines. I just love tearing. I've always, since I was tiny, loved to tear things down and rebuild them. But I also, the last 15 years, have worked in data communications. And I work today on very large, very complex networks. And I believe that a transportation network is needed. And so our business model, and I think it's very difficult for investors to see that in what we have today. When I set something in front of them and I say, hey, you can set your phone on here.
Right. What
I constantly hear back is, how can this scale? And I think, what do you mean, how can this scale? Nothing can scale more than this. But it's something I need to work on to tell the story more. And I think, though, right now when I tell it, I almost sound like a crazy person. Like, we're going to build this transportation network and bring cars online and make them intelligent. And they think, you got a place to set your phone. I mean, come on, back up a little bit. I hope I answered the question.
Okay. No, that's great. Thank you for that. So by way of closing, so I can spare the remainder of your morning, let me ask this. If you're thinking back to 3 years ago, or thinking of anybody else who is at that stage, some other founder who's out there going, wow, I've got this cool idea. I don't know if we can make this work, right? But they're at that kind of idea stage. What's a piece of advice that you would have for 3 years ago, Tom?
It's advice I've already given. People that know me have asked. They share an idea with me, and they said, should we go for it? And my answer is, picture yourself doing this, for the rest of your life or for many years. Is it where you want to be? So I'll give you an example. A buddy of mine was looking at buying a pub in Portage, and he asked me that question. He goes, I think I should buy it. It's a good deal. It's a good moneymaker. And I said, okay, picture yourself behind the bar when it's packed, when it's dead. Picture yourself wiping those counters. Is that your life? Is that what you want to do?
Right.
And so for me, this is what I want to do. I love cars. I love the culture. When we've gone to car shows and we've met with people, I am home. This is I love it. And so despite the fact that years from now, despite the fact that we've gone 3 years and we've only spent money and haven't made any money, I'm excited because I just love where we're at. And I can see myself, and this is the advice for anybody considering it, can they see themselves just always in this place,
right,
with whatever it is they're doing?
okay.
And if the answer is yes, I love this, whatever it is, then do it and
All
stick
right.
with it.
All right, so that speaks to your own motivation and how that has helped you going. This is something that I love, and I absolutely see myself in this space for the foreseeable future. So
if I was only looking at Vehroot Island, I'd be getting discouraged. but the money we've spent on the car shows was money well spent, because it was just a great time. You know, these people love cars and they love technology, and I'm looking forward most of all to being at the shows like CES and Grid Life and the different car shows, and showing what we have, and back to that first day at the Madison Startup Fair, that was heaven. Just getting people's feedback and
all right. Well, yeah, I would say the moments that you've had have already been wonderful reinforcement. Hey, this isn't just a dream. This isn't just something that I love doing. But listen, I was just trying to sell a tablet, and I had people trying to buy a product that I hadn't even made yet. And then I just had 10 versions of it and tried to convince 10 people to get them in their cars, and then they wouldn't give them up. So this is already pretty good reinforcement that this isn't just something you love. This is something that other people are going to love too. So I think that's great. So good on you and the team over there, and certainly wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you. Yeah, one recent thing that happened, it was kind of a do or die moment. We went to a car show in Indianapolis back in April. It was all mobile electronic installers, and all the founders went, and we kind of discussed it ahead of time and said, look, the reaction of our customers here is really going to dictate whether we move forward or not. And we had several hundred people come through our booth, and we're moving forward.
All right.
The reaction we got was, this is amazing. People said things like, this is the product I've been looking for. People stood in our booth for an hour. I mean, it was nice. Very positive reinforcement. So
that's great.
All X and all the shows we've gone to have kept us driven.
All right. Well, I'm excited for you and your team. And Tom, thank you so much for taking time out of your morning to chat with me. And I really appreciated learning more about you and your product and your startup. Thanks so much.